Hey guys, how's it going? This is Mike from M&R Automotive. Today we have a brand new 2024 Ford F-150 Raptor, and we've installed the dual function ditch light kit. The package is going to come with two lights, and you will need to assemble the cradle onto the M&R pod itself. There is, if you look at the thread, there's a large thread and a small thread. And as far as Allen screws, there is a large Allen screw and a smaller one. So the large one holds the cradle together, and then the smaller one will allow you to adjust the angles up and down. So I'm not going to go ahead and tighten them all the way. I like to do it on the vehicle after I align and angle them. So I'm just going to kind of like finger tighten them. And same thing on this side. Excellent. Let's go ahead and mount these on the vehicle. All right, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to peel back this rubber trim piece, and then we're going to get access to the bolt that we're going to be using to mount our M&R brackets. So with a 10mm socket, I'm going to go ahead and unscrew this bolt. So these are the M&R brackets that we're going to be using. We have the driver side as well as the passenger. Since we're working on the driver's side, let me show you how to mount it. So the tab of the bracket, the side where the light ends up installing into, is facing backwards. And the vertical side of the bracket is on the outside of the vehicle, so that way the rubber piece can tuck, this rubber trim piece can tuck right into it. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna thread the same bolt that we've removed in the previous step, and we're gonna thread it back. As simple as that. Okay? While you're threading the bolt, just kind of hold the bracket in place so it doesn't move around, because the way you're going to tighten it is how it's going to be installed. There it is. Now I'm going to take out my socket and I'm going to tuck in the rubber trim piece underneath it. So now we're ready to install the light onto the mount. Now that we got the cradle attached to the light, we're going to actually use the supplied hardware to install it onto the main M&R mount. So I'm going to go ahead and slide the mounting bolt into the cradle. I'm going to slide it through the M&R bracket, and I am going to use a supplied nut and washer just to get a few threads before we use a wrench. There it is. Use a wrench to tighten this bolt, and that way we can align the direction that we want the light to point as well as the location on the bracket. So one thing you do want to account on both sides is the windshield wiper. When it does go all the way outward, I want to see how much space we have, so that way the windshield wiper doesn't hit the light. So let me go ahead and do that right now. So what I want to do, I want to turn on the windshield wiper and see where they end and if they're going to interfere. I don't think that's even an issue. They have plenty of space. So I'm going to make it down the center. So what I want to do, I'm going to hold a wrench. There we go. Alright, so now we're working on the passenger side. So we're going to take the bolt out. So now that we've removed the bolt, we're going to reinsert it into the bracket. Once again, the tab where the light gets installed goes towards the back, and we're going to go ahead and reinstall it. Now that the bracket's in place, let's go ahead and take our tool out and tuck the plastic into it. Now that we have the light mount installed, let's go ahead and put the hardware. Now we're installing the pod onto the bracket. We're going to go ahead and thread it. We're going to put a washer on the bottom and a supplied bolt. Thread a few threads with my finger and then the rest with a wrench. So just to show you that even with the antenna installed, it doesn't interfere with how you're mounting these lights. You can actually swivel them to the side, or you can move them inward, outward to clear it. So we're going to go ahead and align it like this and tighten the top bolt. Alright, now we can get to the wiring. So your pods, they actually have 3 wires coming out of them. So I want to go over each one. You have the red wire, which is the power to the main function of the light, the powerful white light. You have the black wire, which is the ground. And you also have the white wire that serves as the amber DRL, daytime running light feature. So we have to give power to 2 different wires. We're using 2 different switches. So if this wire gets power, it's going to activate the white feature. If this wire gets power, it's going to turn on the amber DRL. Okay, with the M&R wiring kit, you do get a wiring harness to be able to bridge the lights together and connect them to a power source. So you do have two grounding straps, one for the driver's side, one for the passenger. And you have the main harness that spreads from the driver's side to the passenger and towards the battery where the auxiliary switch hookups are. So there is a Y intersection. This is going to be on the passenger side. One of the sides, one of the ends goes to the driver's, and the second end goes directly to auxiliaries. And it is designed to have two different power sources. So the red wire is going to be the white function of the light, and then the white wire is going to be the amber DRL. So I want to give you a quick visualization. Like I mentioned, the Y intersection is going to connect to the passenger. This end is going to go to the driver, and the second end is going to go to the auxiliary switches, which are located next to the battery over here. Okay, so let's start with the wiring. So on the end of the harness, you have a red and white, and we're going to color match red to red, white to white of the lights. And I like to double crimp them, so that way you get a nice crimp and that the wires don't pull out. We're going to do the same thing on the white wire of the light, which is the amber DRL function. And as far as the black wire, that's going to be our ground. We're going to connect it to the grounding strap, which is a black wire as well. As far as the ground, we're going to use this fender bolt. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take it off. We're going to thread it through the eyelid of the ground, and we're going to reinstall it. Awesome. Let's go ahead and do the same thing on the passenger side. We're going to go red to red, white to white, black to black. And the black wire gets a grounding strap. And we're going to use the same fender bolt on the passenger side for a ground. Put it through the eyelid and reinstall the same bolt. Okay, that only leaves us with the end of this harness where you have two wires. So this connects directly to the auxiliary switches. Your Raptor has a total of 6 auxiliary switches, but switch number 1 is used to turn on the factory off-road fog light kits. So we only have switch number 2 to 6 to work with. There is 2 bundles of wires here on the side, and they're all color-coded. One bundle is wrapped in white tape, and one bundle is wrapped with red. The one we're going to want to use are the ones with a red tape on them. So those are going to be the live, connected, controlled by the switches. So let me go over the color code. So aux 1, that's going to be taken by the factory fog light kit, so you're not going to be able to connect to aux 1. Auxiliary 2, that's going to be the green wire with the brown stripe. Auxiliary 3, that's going to be the yellow wire. Auxiliary 4 is the brown wire. Auxiliary 5 is blue with orange stripe. And auxiliary 6 is going to be yellow with orange stripe. And also what you want to note is that every wire has a different amp rating. So you want to make sure to put the accessories that take up more amps, probably on 2 and 3, maybe 4. And the weaker ones, like the DRL function, you want to put them on a 5 amp fuse. So that's going to be 5 and 6. So when connecting the lights, we're going to choose the white function of the light, which is the red wire, and we're going to get it to switch number 4, which is the brown wire. And then switch number 6 is what we're going to use for the amber DRL, which is the yellow wire with a orange stripe. So let's go ahead and do that. So a brown wire, that's going to be the red cable. And the white wire, we're going to go with yellow with orange stripe. All right, let's go ahead and test it. Switch number 4 is going to be the powerful white light. I can see it from here. And switch number 6 is going to be the amber DRL. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I know you guys are going to love the product.